Skye Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we got to talk reality TV news and entertainment today. So let's go ahead and get into the thing, okay? So, according to our friends over at Urban Bell Mag, an unaired scene from last week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville actually aired on the OWN network. So I guess they put out these digital clips that don't actually make the episode. And sometimes these digital clips be the clips that we need to see, okay? Because in this scene right here that was aired, it was essentially a scene between Destiny and Latisha, wherein you guys may recall they were having a conversation. So they were conversing back and forth about, catching up on the events after the Madani, situation. But what we didn't see was Latisha basically saying that Melody acts rough and tough when she has backup, okay? And that she wished she would have had that same energy for her at Galentine's. So let's get down into the biz naive of what was actually said, okay? So Latisha says this. They were talking about, how the guys get involved, and if the guys get involved in things, things tend to get worse. Latisha's belief is that Marceau should have came over and talked Martell into moving back and stepping out of the way and letting the women handle it. Okay. So for her, she feels like, they both kind of agreed to a certain degree. I mean, I think it was more or less Destiny was trying to tell her, like, when the guys get involved, things get, escalated. And so Latisha starts relaying what Marceau was trying to say to her. She says, when the guys get involved, it ain't just talking. It's like somebody gonna end up, gone or in jail. It's too much. That's why I was like, I wish she would have had that same energy from me at Galentine. I wish this was an all-girl event. But it was crazy because you had none of that heat from me. You got up and walked out. I'm confronting you about things and you got up and walked out. Is it because you didn't have your mom to have your back, or you didn't have Martell to have your back? If you're a woman, you're going to face somebody. I'm here, you're there, let's go. Now, Latisha does make it clear that she was not intending to fight Melody. She says, I can control myself. I wasn't going to fight her. I just wanted to know what was going on and be like, chick, what's going on? Back up, get out my mama's face. Okay. And then she goes on to say that at the end of the day, my mom can handle her own. I have a lot more self-control than my mom has. She would have actually fought Van and Mel at the same time. What do you guys think? Do you guys feel like Melody only approached the situation because she had, Martell and Miss Van in the background? Or do you think that Melody would have just gone and done that on her own regardless, anyway? I don't know. It looked to me like Mel was pretty about it that day, but I also feel like Miss Wanda would have been about it too, with both Van and Melody at the same time. Just because I feel like that's just how Miss Wanda get down if you roll up to her. So, do I believe that things might have escalated if the guys were not there? I do believe that things would have escalated if had the guys not been there, because I don't think that Latisha would have been able to hold Miss Wanda back. Because if Latisha is telling us that Miss Wanda can take on Melody and Miss Van, I don't think that Latisha would have been enough to stop Miss Van from trying to, get physical, because it felt to me like that's where things were about to lead. The energy was just there that day for it to go there. So that's why I feel the way that I feel. It would have gotten jumped off. If the guy, I do believe that if the guys hadn't have come in that moment and tried to slow things down, it didn't necessarily look like anybody else was trying to stop it. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and perspectives. All right. So the next thing we got to talk about is this scene right here that is set to play out on this week's episode of Married to Medicine. As you guys know, we are going into the finale of Married to Medicine. And so we have a lot of things really kind of popping off to end the season. And one of those things is, we get this face off between Quad and Toya and Eugene. Now, what is this about? Okay. shout out to our friends over at OMFG Reality TV for posting this clip. Okay. And basically, what we have here is a scene where Quad is defending herself against Toya and Eugene because for Quad, she felt like they came after her and were divorce shaming her with the Diva t-shirt, basically saying that Toya was like, well, you're gonna need this shirt for those cold and lonely nights in this big old house that you got, right? So we have, Toya saying that in the scene. And so as a result, I believe Quad goes online and she calls the man Eugina. Okay. That should not tickle me. Okay. It should not, because it's I don't think it's nice. But there we have it. Eugenia. Okay. Basically, it was a take on, a take on, basically a take on him being like, like getting into the woman's business or whatever. I guess because Toya and Eugene were, kind of laughing at her expense. At least that's the way Quad explains that she felt. Okay. So in the scene, in the clip, what we see is Eugene asking, what do you have against us? Right. And so then you see Quad saying, I have nothing against you. And then in the promo, you also see him saying, well, stop talking about us. But that wasn't actually the end of the moment. Okay. The end of the moment only shows Quad's reaction. It doesn't show what she said. But we got the clip right here. Okay. So let's get into it real quick.
Nothing against you
quit
guys.
talking about
Then
us.
shut your mouth about me.
One more time for the one time.
Against you
quit
guys.
talking about
Then
us.
shut your mouth about me.
I don't know why Dr. Heavenly tickled me so in that clip right there where she was laughing, but I just had to throw that on up in there. So yeah, this is gonna be quite interesting to me because I feel like I want to see what happens next. What's gonna be the resolution to this? Because surely we can't go into yet another season of Toya and Quad versus Eugene. And it does seem as though Eugene has been in his feels about a lot of the things that have gone on this season. I wonder, to me, if he is in particular very like sensitive about a lot of these things because of the work that he's doing and how much stress he's under. Because a lot of times when people are under a lot of stress, things impact them in a much different way. So like the Kieran joke, do we think that that was a reason why he was so affected by it? Maybe because he's so stressed, or do you just think it wasn't that fun? It wasn't funny. You know what I'm saying? Let me know in the chatterization. It's quite interesting. Also, to be sure to catch Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King recapping the episode of Married to Medicine tomorrow night at 10 p.m. right after the finale or the final episode of the Married to Medicine reunion goes off. I was able to do this with her and I had a ton of fun. Last week, she had on my boy House of Aaron. And this week, she has Carlos King on to finish out the finale. And I know coming from a producer, it's going to be interesting to hear what questions he has for Dr. Heavenly with regards to the dynamics that are playing out on the reunion and where they all go next. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think about all of this. Let me know down in the chatterization down below, and I will catch you in the next video.